Welcome to Never Too Late for Fitness Radio, bringing baby boomers proven strategies and innovative products for getting fit, staying fit, so you can live a longer, healthier, and happier life. Here's your host, best-selling author and fitness advocate, Phil Ferris.
This is Phil Ferris, and welcome to our show. Never Too Late for Fitness Radio and provides answers and straight talk about fitness, nutrition, and healthy lifestyles for people over 50. During each show, we talk about real health and fitness experts solving real problems with proven solutions you can apply to your day-to-day life. If you've tried a diet and failed to keep the weight off, this episode is for you. If you're at the point in your life where you just want to be healthy and strong and avoid the aches and pains and weight gain that come with aging, this episode is for you. My guest today is LaManna, a certified personal trainer, nutritional counselor, and owner of Max Fitness located in Lake Zurich, Illinois. With over 20 years of experience, Lisa uses her education and her own experiences in health, fitness, and nutrition to craft personalized programs for each of her clients. The results her clients achieve are both impressive and personally satisfying. Welcome to the show, Lisa.
Thank you so much, Phil. I'm excited to be here.
Great. Now, your current approach to nutrition and fitness has a lot to do with your own personal journey. Successes, failures, disappointments, and lessons learned. Can you tell us about your journey and how it shaped how you work with your clients and helping them achieve their health and fitness results?
Sure, I'd be happy to. So I've basically have always had a love for fitness since I can remember, since I was very young. And I've been in gyms my whole life, it seems like. But even before I was able to do that, I was very active. And basically the reason behind, I believe the reason behind I grew this love for fitness is when I was very young, only 2 years old, I was diagnosed with the condition rheumatoid arthritis. And it was a big deal for my parents, to have a child that was ill and trying to keep me active because before I was able to be active, I basically wasn't able to walk. So when I went into remission, I was thrown into all of these programs, swim programs, exercise programs, after school activities, because they were told physical activity is the best way to keep the joints moving and so that I would be able to live a normal lifestyle. So it was pretty much drilled into me to stay active for my whole life. And I did pretty well, but after I had my children, and I have 2 boys, I went into a full-blown flare-up. And I was put on a lot of medication to try to keep it under control. And, you know how that goes. Anyone who's been on a lot of medication, that can be difficult. So it took me, I think, until I got into a good part of my adulthood to realize that I had a lot of control over this. If I cleaned up my diet and I implemented this exercise regimen on a daily basis, and I found that I really could take control of it for the most part on my own. So I wanted to start teaching other people how to be able to do that also. So I became certified, and I started my fitness business.
Okay. Now you work with a wide range of clients, from high school athletes to busy executives. Yet there's one group that seeks you out and you work very, very well with. Can you tell us about this group and why you're attracted to working with them?
Yes, definitely. So I do work with men and women, but I do find that a large percentage of my clients are women in this age group that I'm in, where we've had children, we're very busy, and a lot of women will, lose that time for themselves, and they don't have the time to take care of themselves. They end up putting weight on, and they're putting so much time into their family, and they really want someone that they can confide in, that they feel comfortable with, because women need that a lot. So going to a gym sometimes doesn't always work out for them. They get frustrated because they don't really know what to do. They're not getting, like you said, they're not getting the results that they want. They're not seeing the results from the work that they're putting in. So these are the women I think that tend to like to work with me and seek me out because they feel that camaraderie of someone, in their own age group that is maybe having some of the same struggles that they're having.
Okay. And what are some of the specific, when they come to you, what are the outcomes they're looking for?
Well, most women are looking to lose weight, right? They want to get into their comfortable jeans again. They want to feel good in their holiday dresses. They just want to feel confident, about themselves, and they want that, that image of themselves that maybe they lost. And they want to feel good again. They're tired. They're exhausted from, some of them are working and they're raising their families, and they really don't have a lot of time for themselves. So you really have to kind of consolidate how much time you can actually put into, yourself and being able to stay active and be fit. And it's hard for them to do that.
Are there other reasons that this particular group has difficulty in losing weight?
I honestly believe that a lot of it has to do with just the diet that we've adopted. There's a lot of fast foods. There's a lot of processed foods. People are eating on the run, and they're not getting the nutrition that their body craves. They're just cutting calories, and maybe sometimes they're just not even eating enough calories, and they end up doing themselves some harm as far as their metabolism goes. So I believe that has a lot to do with it.
Okay. Now, because many of your clients have failed at weight loss programs, fitness programs before, as you mentioned, how do you help your clients conquer those fears and get back in the saddle so that they can reach the results? Because if they aren't taking time for themselves, if they aren't working out, if they aren't preparing meals, they're never going to get the results. So how do you get them back on track?
Well, it really is twofold, because the exercise is so important. Like, you want to have a routine that you can stick with, that you can be committed to, that doesn't feel overwhelming. But you also do need to have some type of structure to your diet. And, Phil, the word diet sometimes frustrates me because people use the word diet as a verb. And I think the word diet is a noun, right?
Yeah,
so
right.
You shouldn't go on a diet, because that usually spirals out of control. Like, you end up cutting too many calories, and it's not doable. It's not something they can stick with that can be a lifestyle. So your diet really is a noun. Like, what does your diet consist of, so that you get all the nutrition that your body needs and you feel good? So I think they need to do something that's sustainable, because sometimes they will initially lose weight on these so-called diets that they go on, but they can't stay on it forever. So eventually they put the weight back on, and then that's frustrating, because they've spent a lot of time and they've spent a lot of money investing in how to get that weight off, and then it comes back on again. So, I've helped a lot of people reach their weight loss goals. I recently helped a gentleman lose 85 pounds, and he's kept it off, which is just amazing. And they like the fact that I coach them and they check in with me, and they know that they have someone that they can talk to. So they're not doing it on their own, which I think is a big challenge for people trying to do this on their own.
Well, tell me a little bit about what you specifically did to help the gentleman lose 85 pounds. And I'm assuming that wasn't done in a couple of months. That was over a period of time.
Yeah, it was in less than a year. It was several months. He lost probably 30 something pounds in the first 3 months, maybe less. I think 2 months. Because when you have a lot of weight to lose, and you're kind of shocking your body when you change everything, and it starts to come off quickly. But the key is to continue with that weight loss and continue the weight coming off. And I do have a program that I use that I'm a big believer in. It's based around getting nutrition. So I feel like calorie counting is becoming antiquated, because all calories are not created equal, right? So you can have 300 calories of one food and 300 calories of another food, and one's going to make you feel great and energized, and the other one's going to make you feel like you want to take a nap. So, right. So counseling them with the proper nutrition. And there is a program that I use for that, which gives them enough calories, but really concentrates on nutrition more than calories.
So what would be the biggest change that people make when they start a program, a nutritional program? What's the biggest change that you make that helps them, that makes a difference?
I think, like I said, using a program where you're getting the right nutrition is, first of all, going to make you feel better. So you suddenly start to have this energy that you didn't have before because you're feeling kind of sluggish. And then you start to see results right away, which will motivate you to keep going. So if you're not seeing the results quickly enough, you get frustrated. And if you're not getting enough nutrition and the right amount of nutrition, you feel tired. And sometimes worse. Sometimes there are other symptoms that come along with changing your diet in the wrong way. So I think that is what will motivate them and get them to keep going and to keep making that progress.
Okay, but and there comes a time in most weight loss programs or even lifestyle programs where the weight doesn't come off as rapidly, and they call it the plateau.
Right.
And that's usually that's like when they hit a brick wall, and a lot of times that's when people quit, is because, oh, here we go again. How do you help people get past that brick wall and the plateaus?
I really believe that a lot of this I always say that the mental part of this, like really being committed and understanding that there is going to be ups and downs, because no program, no system that you do is going to be perfect. You're not going to lose 10 pounds a month, a month consistently. Everybody's body is different. So making that commitment and understanding when you do hit that plateau that, okay, maybe I need to readjust now. Maybe I need to add in more cardio. Maybe I need to, change when during the day I'm having my certain amount of protein or the amount of calories. I like the 2/3 by 2/3 rule. I tell people that you should have 2/3 of your calories by 2/3 of the day and not eating all your calories at night. So I think those plateaus, if you understand that they're going to happen and you face them head on and not allow yourself to get too frustrated.
Now, just to make this more concrete for me and the listeners, can you give an example of perhaps a client that did run into a plateau and the struggles they had, and what you did to help them get through it so that they were able to sustain the results?
Well, I'll have a conversation with them and really drill down what they're doing, because sometimes they may have fallen a little bit off of what they're supposed to be doing, but they don't really think it's going to make that much of a difference. So we can really sit down and say, so what does your breakfast look like? And what does your lunch look like? And what does your dinner look like? And did you, cheat here and there? And did you really get in the amount of exercise that you were supposed to get in? And really drilling down how we're going to change it maybe the following week to get them to start getting the results again.
Okay. Now, for the woman on the go, and a lot of times you mentioned the women that they're either working, raising a family, and a lot of times both, and they're chauffeuring kids around. And so, how do you get good nutrition into that busy lifestyle when they're the last person that they take care of?
So being prepared is definitely, something that's important, because yes, that does happen all the time. I'll hear clients say to me, well, I didn't have time because I had to drive my kids here and had to drive my kids there. And so, yes, when you're on this weight loss, I call it a mission. Like I tell my clients, like, this has to be your mission. Like you have to understand that you're going to be prepared. And there's going to be days where, you might forget to do something to prepare yourself. But I use protein bars. I use protein drinks sometimes because they're easy on the go. Maybe a little bit of meal prep, but I don't like to give people too much that they have to do too much work to stay on this. You got to simplify it and make it easy. So being prepared is definitely a big part of getting your results.
Okay. I imagine that's something that you do up front with people to try and manage those expectations, because you're trying to say, hey, we're changing your lifestyle and we're doing it a little bit at a time, as opposed to, this is a diet that you're going to do for a week, a month, or 2 months and then stop. So you're really trying to build in the habits that will allow them to sustain over time.
Yes, that's so super important that you have to understand that you're changing your lifestyle and that there are things that are going to happen. So a lot of, this time of year, especially, I'll have people say to me, well, I think I'm going to call you in January. Well, why are you going to call me in January? Well, because the holidays are coming. I'm like, you do understand that Thanksgiving is one day and Christmas is one day. And so you have all these other days in between that if you let all this time pass, the average weight gain between in the holidays is, I guess, 7 pounds. I've heard 8 pounds, but people will end up putting on because they have this excuse that, I'm going to go to this party, I'm going to go to that party. And you're really just sabotaging yourself. So those of us who are already on this journey where we have a routine, we try not to fall off of it just because the holidays are coming along. So it's not a bad time to get started in October or November. It's actually probably the best time to get started before you go down the rabbit hole.
And that, because people do get into the self-fulfilling prophecy. Well, I'm going to lose 10 pounds. I'm going to gain 10 pounds. And then I'll just, I'll lose it when the holidays are over. And the trouble now is that the holidays go to the Super Bowl, which is February.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's crappy outside and I don't want to, I have all sorts of reasons not to go out and be active. And then it's March and it's April and all of a sudden a bad day becomes a bad month and a bad year. And then all of a sudden 10 pounds becomes 20 pounds and it becomes, that becomes their lifestyle. So
there is not a perfect time, right, Phil? I mean, the perfect time is when you're ready.
Mm-hmm.
The perfect time is when you hit that wall and you say, I'm really tired of not feeling well. I'm really tired of being tired. I'm really tired of not being able to fit in my favorite jeans. There is not a perfect day because like you just said, there's after the holidays, there's the Super Bowl, and then there's spring break, and then there's summer, and there's the barbecues, and there's the graduation parties, and there's always something. So making that commitment to live the healthy lifestyle is basically a commitment all year round.
So when people come into you initially, how do you know that they're committed? What is it that you look for in someone that lets you know, yeah, this time this person really is committed to making a difference in their life?
I honestly, at this point, after all these years of being in this industry, I can almost see it in their face. Like I can see they'll sit down in a consultation and they look at me and say, I'm ready. Like, I'm so tired of this battle. And that's when I know, because sometimes I hear the words, but I'm really not feeling that they're really saying them like they really mean it. So I don't know if there's a certain thing that they say to me, but it's just the way they say it, I think. And you can tell when someone is finally ready to do the change.
Now, Lisa, I want to switch from the nutritional side, which is very important, to the fitness side. Now, you have a lot of women over 50, and they've never done strength training because they're either intimidated by it, they got disappointed by the results, they got injured, or they're, in a lot of cases, they're kind of intimidated at the gym, when they call it gymtemination. Where do I do? I'm overwhelmed by all the pieces of equipment, and I don't know what to do, and am I doing it right? And so how do you work with women and help them adapt, and understand the value of strength training?
Well, this is something that is, for me, super important because I really believe that that strength and muscle on a woman is an attractive thing, So you want the posture that they have when they are strong. And a lot of women, like you said, they are intimidated when they go to a gym. And there's the weight training floors are usually mostly men. And a lot of women go into the aerobics classes. And I think the reason sometimes they go into the classes is for that fact that they don't want to be on the floor, feeling intimidated and like they don't know what they're doing and they're afraid that they're going to look silly or something like that. When they train with me, it's private. It's usually one-on-one or with a friend or something like that with a small group. And they feel more comfortable that they're having someone actually show them how to do the exercises and correct them if they do them wrong. And I try to start with wherever they're at. So if they've never worked out with weights before, we're starting from the very beginning and making sure that they feel comfortable with the exercise before they move on to something that's a little more difficult. And then they build up their confidence that way, especially when they start to feel their muscles working and they start to feel and see the results. I think that's the benefit of having a personal trainer rather than just going to a gym. I see people at the gym all the time, I'm sure you do too, where they're doing something that could hurt them. And approaching, someone can be difficult to show them. So when they come to me, I have that freedom to teach them.
Can you give a specific example what it might be like to work with you initially, the kinds of exercises you would put someone through and what you would try and emphasize? Because if they're, this is a radio show, so they can't. So you have to kind of describe that. What would be a typical thing you do with someone that came in that really hadn't had any experience working out, and what would be the things you'd be looking for to make sure that they could eventually progress?
Okay, so I always do a consultation with someone at the beginning, so I can see where they're at as far as their flexibility, as far as their upper body strength, even their gait. Sometimes the way their movement patterns are, they may have some muscle imbalances that we need to work on. So there are some basic core elements of fitness, right? You've got flexibility, you've got strength, and then you've got cardiovascular strength. And then also a huge part, I think that, especially in the last few years has become very prevalent is stabilization and balance.
Right.
As we get older, people tend to lose their balance. We don't do the things we used to do, like, walk on sidewalks and skip over puddles and things like that. So we're being cautious a lot of the time. So we start to lose a lot of that ability to be stable. So core strength, I think, is super important. So I start people with basic things like, how many push-ups can you do? Can you touch your toes? Let me see what if you have to squat, what does your squat look like? Are you able to reach down and pick things up without hurting your back or your knees? And then that's like the real basics, right? But then, people who have been working out, maybe we can evaluate where their strength is, and there might be a little bit ahead of the beginner, so we can teach them exercises that are a little bit more challenging. But I start people with the basic core strength, stabilization exercises that they can do using some tools like a BOSU or a balancing board, or just, doing exercises, standing on one leg, things like that. So those are the 4 areas that I try to make sure all of my clients are working on.
Now, do you have women actually lift weights, or do you do body weight, or what kinds of exercise do you usually use in your programs?
For sure. Yeah, I love working with free weights. It's what I've been doing my whole life. So, and I think a lot of women really want to, and they like that feeling of they can, push some dumbbells, or they can, they can do a squat with some dumbbells in their hands. And so I do work, almost all of my female clients work with dumbbells, unless they really don't want to. Most of them aren't opposed to doing it. So we do cables. There are cable exercises with cable pulleys. I use dumbbells. I use stability balls. I do TRX training. And then there's lots of other, like, resistance bands and things like that. So I try to incorporate a lot of things into their workout program. So, they have some variety and they don't get bored, because you don't want it to be something you don't want to do. So you try to keep it fun at the same time.
Okay. Now, Lisa, most of my listeners don't live near you. They're not in Lake Zurich, but they want to start working out with a personal trainer. What advice would you give them to help them choose a personal trainer that's right for them?
Okay, so there are a few things I would tell you about that. It could be tough to pick the right personal trainer. There are so many trainers out there. But the first thing I would say is to make sure that the trainer that you choose is credited with a reputable certification. Getting referral is always good, but you may not know anyone who has a personal trainer. You can reach out to a trainer and ask for some testimonials of their clients. If a good trainer will not have any problem doing that for you, maybe giving you a phone number, or they have a website where they have testimonials. You want to make sure that your trainer offers to do a fitness evaluation for you. And they should give you a consultation. And some trainers will do that for free.
Okay. Any other insights that you think you'd share that would make sure that this is a good fit?
Everybody's different. So some women only really want to have a female trainer. There are actually some women who just want to have a male trainer. I don't think it really matters. I think most of all, you want to feel comfortable with the person that you're with. There are some trainers out there that will push you really hard, and you want to be pushed, but sometimes they might push you harder than maybe you're ready for. So if after your first couple of workouts, you're in excruciating pain, that might not be the right trainer for you. And it's okay to switch to a new trainer. You may start with someone and find that they're not pushing you hard enough. They're not holding you accountable. So maybe the first trainer you find might not be the right one. Just like the first hairdresser I found wasn't the right one either. So
okay, that's an important point, because a lot of times people, it's not the right fit.
Mm-hmm.
And so rather than say, hey, this isn't working, I'm going to go somewhere else, like they would if it was a store, shoe store or anything else, they quit on themselves. And the thing is that sometimes you don't know until you actually work out with a trainer. Is there that fit? Does that trainer understand what I'm really about and what I really need? And so it's your body, and it's your health, it's your fitness. So if it doesn't feel right, talk to the trainer. But if it really isn't, find another trainer. I mean, don't give up on working with a personal trainer just because you have a guy that's not the right fit. And I've worked with a lot of trainers throughout the years, and 3 or 4 of them were great trainers, but they just weren't right for me. And I said, here's what I was looking for, and that's not what you do well. So I'm going to go find someone that does what I need and does that very well. And the trainers usually appreciate it too, because, they like to train people that they're comfortable training. And, everybody's got different needs and expectations. So that's kind of a real key thing, is that you are making an investment, and this person is going to, if it's a good fit, you're going to get good results, and the results that can last a lifetime. Now, Lisa, we've covered a lot of ground, and is there perhaps there's one thing that we may not have covered so far that you'd like to share with women over 50 who are considering starting a fitness program? Kind of a lessons learned or word to the wise that might help them make the right choices going forward.
Yeah, for sure. The thing that I think is most important, Phil, is that they have to make a commitment. They really need to be ready to make that commitment and block out the time in their schedule, whether they're going to meet with a trainer once a week or twice a week, and then they're going to go to a gym, or they're going to have the trainer design something for them to do at home. Whatever it's going to be, really make that commitment to yourself and give yourself a good couple of months where you're not going to make an excuse like, the season finale of my favorite show is on. So I'm not going to go to my trainer today. And your trainer, who is blocking off time for you, is like, okay, I don't know why they're not coming. Or whatever, your dog is sick, or people make excuses all the time, and that's not to be critical. It's just human nature. And I've made excuses for things myself. So making that commitment and sticking to it to the best of your ability, and really giving yourself a chance to finally get the results that you want, and not to go, okay, I tried something and again I failed. Okay. So I really think it's important to block off the time in your schedule. And I think that's why signing up with a trainer or deciding to make a commitment with a trainer is a good thing, even if it's not forever, because it holds you accountable for a certain period of time, for however long you're going to work with that trainer. And then you might get to the point where you're doing great on your own, and you know what to do, and you can go to the gym and you can do things on your own, and that's fantastic. But I think that's the most important part.
Yeah, I think that's really wise advice, because again, it's really replacing some bad habits with good habits, and it takes time for those habits to build up to where they've become very second nature for you. It's like, oh, today is Wednesday. Wednesday is my day with my trainer, and so it gets built into your schedule, and it's a habit. And 60, 90 days is probably a good time for you to start to see some sustainable types of results. Oh, I would agree there.
Yes, for sure.
Now, if people want to get contact with you and learn more about your programs, where should they go?
So social media is a big thing now, right? A lot of people are on social media. I do have a Facebook page, Max Fitness Personal Training. They can message or contact me there. My website is in the process of being restructured, so that will be available to them soon. But they can also email me anytime at maxfitnesslisa@gmail.com and send me a message, and I would be happy to set up a phone consultation or an in-person consultation. A phone consultation might be for someone who just needs help with nutrition, and they, don't live close enough to come and train with me. But either way, they can reach me. Those are two great ways to get in touch with me.
Okay, so the personal training is something you do kind of locally, and then the nutritional training is something you have clients all over the country that you work with. Is that right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so if you need a nutritional coach, give Lisa a holler, and she'll spend some time on the phone talking, see if there's a good fit, and help you out. And if you're in the Lake Zurich area, she has her studio, and a good place to go. So, Lisa, thank you so much for sharing your journey and your insights, and helping our audience to find ways to get fit, stay fit, and live a longer, healthier, and happier life. So, thank you for being on the show today.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. This was great just chatting with you and getting some information out to people. And this is what I'm passionate about. So I'm happy to help anyone who wants to contact me.
Well, great. Thanks a lot. And you have a great day, Lisa.
You too, Phil. Thank you.
Bye.
You've been listening to Never Too Late for Fitness Radio, hosted by Phil Ferris. To learn more about the guests or resources on our show today, or to listen to past episodes, go to nevertoolateforfitness.com.